Looking back, P5 looks decent, but actually in my final sector started sliding too much, and then yeah.
Listen guys, Max Verstappen walked into Barcelona on Friday saying he couldn't fight for pole. He was nearly a full second off the pace. The engineers were panicking, the media had already written him off, and then hold on, something wild happened on Saturday. He closed that gap down to 0.3 and was on course for the front row before everything fell apart in one brutal corner. Today we are breaking down exactly what went wrong, why Max's tire situation is genuinely scary heading into the race, and the F1 rule bomb that could literally decide whether he stays in the sport. Let's break it down, but before that, if you want more updates on Max, then hit that like button and subscribe. The 0.7 second turnaround nobody expected. So, let me show you something almost nobody is talking about properly. On Friday in Barcelona, Max was sitting 0.7, sometimes nearly 0.9 behind the pace. That is not a small gap in Formula One. He literally told journalists he was sure he could not challenge for pole. The car felt wrong everywhere. High speed, low speed, medium speed. His exact words were, "We are losing everywhere." Nothing felt nice. Red Bull were visibly unstable on the circuit, and Martin Brundle was pointing it out from the track side. But here is the crazy part. Saturday comes around, the team works overnight, makes some adjustments, and somehow the gap shrinks to just 0.3 seconds. Max himself said he was a little bit surprised by how much the gap came down. So what changed? Max described the RB22 as a very sensitive car, meaning small setup tweaks can flip its behavior massively in both directions. That sensitivity is a double-edged sword. It helped them recover on Saturday, but as we will see in a second, it also set the stage for what happened in that final sector of qualifying. The final corner panic. He was tracking for pole right. So this is where it gets really interesting and a little painful if you are a Max fan. The Q3 data from Saturday shows something that honestly surprised me. Max set the fastest first sector of anyone on the entire grid. Fastest. Not second, not third fastest. He was building a lap, genuinely threatening pole position, and then turn 10 happened. From that corner onwards, the grip just vanished. He told media afterwards, "For some reason, I just had no grip anymore from turn 10 onwards. I started sliding and everything gets more difficult." He backed off in the final corners because the feeling was completely gone, and that cost him at least third on the grid. He ended up fifth, 0.3 behind pole sitter George Russell. There was also a red flag in Q3 caused by Charles Leclerc's crash, which added another layer of chaos. Max and Oscar Piastri already had times on the board at that point, while a big chunk of the field still had fresh laps to come. It was one of those sessions where everything stacked against him at exactly the wrong moment. All the tires felt bad. Max's race warning. And here is the thing that should be worrying every Red Bull fan heading into Sunday's race. After qualifying, a journalist asked Max which tire compound felt best, soft, medium, or hard, and Max's answer was genuinely alarming. He said, "To be honest, all the tires felt bad. Medium, hard, soft. All of them. Not one compound gave him confidence." He also has an extra problem. Nobody else among the top teams has. He is the only one of the big four drivers who already burned through a set of hard tires this weekend. That means he goes into the race with one fewer strategy option than his rivals. And on a track like Barcelona, which is famously brutal on tire degradation, that is not a small disadvantage. His prediction for the race was blunt. It is going to come down to who manages tires best. Given that he does not trust any compound and has fewer options than his rivals, Max is in a really uncomfortable spot. Will the F1 rule vote save Max's career? Now let's step back from Barcelona for a second because there is bigger news around Max that has been building for weeks. He has been the loudest voice criticizing the 2026 engine regulations, calling them anti-racing, saying the 50-50 split between combustion and electric power makes the cars feel like empty driving. At the Canadian GP last month, he went as far as saying it is mentally not doable for him to stay in F1 if nothing changes. Well, this week the F1 Commission voted through a supermajority to pass a compromise. The plan is to shift to a 58-42 split in favor of combustion next year, moving to the full 60-40 split in 2028. Max's reaction? He said he understands the politics, but it is the bare minimum he wanted. So it buys the sport some time, but this conversation is far from finished. Why Max is walking away from the Nordschleife? Quick one here, but genuinely interesting. Max has confirmed to media that he will not return to compete in any more NLS races at the Nürburgring Nordschleife this year. The reason is straightforward: the NLS calendar clashes with GT World Challenge Europe races, and the number 3 Mercedes car is committed to that championship instead. For context, Max's whole Nürburgring journey this year was wild. He got disqualified from his NLS 2 win in March after the team accidentally used 7 tire sets instead of the 6 allowed. Then he finally made his debut in the Nürburgring 24 hours last month, only to have a technical issue hit the car in the final hours when they were genuinely in contention. Heartbreak after heartbreak on that track, but at least the 24 hours dream got ticked off the bucket list. The shock disqualification boosting his team, and finally, this one is almost poetic. Nearly a full month after the Nürburgring 24 hours finished, the stewards on June 12th officially disqualified the second-placed Red Bull team, ABT Lamborghini. Post-race checks on a dynamometer found the car was running around 20 horsepower over the permitted limit, double the allowed tolerance. ABT chose not to appeal, so the result is now final, and Max's number 3 Mercedes team moves up 1 spot to 37th overall. So, to wrap this up, Max goes into the Barcelona Grand Prix from 5th on the grid with tires he does not trust, 1 fewer hard set than his rivals, and a car that can be brilliant one moment and lose grip the next. The F1 rule vote has bought his future some breathing room, but the real test is the race. My honest opinion, if the safety car comes out at the right moment, Max could absolutely steal a podium here. Red Bull showed real pace when everything clicked. Now the question I want to leave you with is this: do you think the 58-42 engine compromise is actually enough to keep Max in Formula 1 long term, or is this just delaying the inevitable? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one.